when you say Dubai is different than Dubai.
Yes.
And I wanted a rhyming word with it, and it is Dhai. We wanted it to be a very Emirati driven festival and exhibition, but most importantly, the production is made in the UAE. What's really interesting with the theme of light influences life, it comes really back from the exhibition name, which is Dhai Dubai. We really wanted to blend. Dhai is not only light, especially in Emirati. It is more about the shine within, the light within. So we wanted to showcase the light within these artists. So when we ask the artist, the first thing comes to your mind when I tell you light influences life. Some of them says it's the olive tree. Some says it's when we wake up for prayer, that's what we hear, the sound of birds. Some would say, everyone has a different interpretation. One of them was saying it's about the light of flame in the desert when our ancestors were taking decisions.
Hello, everyone. Today we are going to be speaking about Dhai Dubai, a new exhibition in Dubai.
And we are talking about the extremely exciting grand opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum.
This is Culture Bites coming to you from the National News. I'm Enas and Farah.
And I'm Farah Andrews.
And if you're new to this channel, just to inform you, this is an arts and culture program. We talk all about arts and culture in the region and around the world. So please do check out our other episodes and find something that might tickle your fancy.
And don't forget to like and subscribe so you'll see when all of our videos drop.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I am so well. I've been growing mushrooms.
You have.
Since our old episode. I have to show you all the videos. I'm going to give them to our producers. It's so beautiful.
The videos or the mushrooms?
The mushrooms. I do need to eat them though soon.
Yeah. How quickly have they grown?
In about 2 weeks.
That's amazing.
And now we've got these giant pink oyster mushrooms in my living room. Yeah, my children are finding it fascinating. Although my youngest has already admitted she will not eat them.
Fair.
Honestly, if anyone has any tips for how to get a fussy eater to eat something, they're pink. I thought Barbie pasta.
Oh, yeah.
Sure win. No, she was wrong.
She's not interested.
She's not interested at all. Anyway, hopefully she's going to be interested in this new exhibition.
I think so. So this week, we are talking about Dhai Dubai, which is an extremely exciting art festival, an exhibition that is coming to Dubai. It's going to be returning for its second edition this year, and it's running from November 12th to 18th over at Wasl Plaza in Expo City Dubai.
Yes, it's a collection of different Emirati artists have come together under one theme, which is Dhai Dubai, which means light Dubai. Mm-hmm. And we have Emirati artists Fatima Luta, Mohammed Kazim, Khalid Al-Bana, Alia bin Umair, Al-Zaina Luta, Ahmed Al-Dahri and Hassa Al-Ghandi.
Yeah, so 7 artists coming together.
From the 7 Emirates. And they are coming together, and we have all been brought together by this one of the curators, co-creator, who is Amna Abulhoul, who actually came in to speak to us.
So let's talk to Adam.
And here we are, joined with Amna. Hello, thank you for joining us at Culture Bites.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Do you want to give us a brief overview of what is going on in Dubai?
Dhai Dubai is coming really soon, next week, hopefully, in Al Wasl Plaza in Expo City Dubai. Dhai Dubai is I would call it a cultural light exhibition. It is an exhibition, and we call it a light festival, that connects 7 Emirati distinguished artists from different generations, connected with one thread and given one specific theme called Light Influences Life.
Love that.
So how do we see that theme kind of translate through the different pieces and the different interpretations of the theme from the artists?
What's really interesting with the theme of Light Influences Life, it comes really back from the exhibition name, which is Dhai Dubai. We really wanted to blend. Dhai is not only light, especially in Emirati. It is more about the shine within, the light within. So we wanted to showcase the light within these artists. So when we ask the artist, the first thing comes to your mind when I tell you light influences life. Some of them says it's the olive tree. Some says it's when we wake up for prayer, that's what we hear, the sound of birds. Some would say, everyone has a different interpretation. One of them was saying it's about the light of flame in the desert when our ancestors were taking decisions.
Wow.
So it really goes deep within, and they directly understand it is the light within rather than just light.
That is so beautiful. That is such a beautiful word in Arabic. And we were talking just before we came on camera that you wanted to use Dhai because of the letter Dad as well, which is really specific to Arabic. You wanted to teach people about the letter.
Definitely. And what we really wanted with this specific festival is not like any other festival where you can bring different artists from around the world and put a festival together from a beauty perspective. We wanted it to be a very Emirati driven festival and exhibition, but most importantly, the production is made in the UAE.
Okay.
We wanted it to be a purely made in UAE, but at the same time, there was a huge debate about the word Dhai Dubai. And usually I design sometimes logos and all of that. So the whole team, we're like a big team, and they all said Dubai Light Festival. I know back in my head, I wanted it to be Dhai. Because there is it's not a hidden message, but when you say Dubai is different than Dubai,
Yes.
and I wanted a rhyming word with it, and it is Dhai. And it's really one artist inspired me to move forward with this is Dr. Najat Makki.
Wow.
When I told her, what do you think of this name? Because, when your team says no, you go to the artists. So you need to get a backup. I cannot just go to the team and say, no, we have to. So I made sure that the artists are with me, backing me up. But she said, I said, what came in your mind when I say Dhai Dubai? She said, the sparkle of light on Dubai Creek back then.
Beautiful.
When she said that, I went back to the team and said, by the way, it's Dhai Dubai.
And that's a mic drop.
Yeah, solidified. I think when we think of Dubai and when we think of the Emirat, because of, the natural climate here, people tend to do more things at night. So light is a really important factor to our nightlife and how we enjoy the city. How is that being taken forward then in this exhibition?
What is different a bit in this exhibition is we're using light even from the sun.
Oh, incredible.
So all the sculptures have a life during the day and during the night.
That's beautiful.
And what inspired us with that is Wasl Plaza. Wasl Plaza acts like a shading space in the morning, but comes to life at night. And we thought if these sculptures need to communicate with Wasl Plaza from a metaphoric perspective, not literal though, but maybe literal, we don't know, it needs to bounce back a dialogue. So one of the sculptures that we have this edition, it's about the sundial. And the artist's grandfather is the one who created the first sundial in the UAE, the great-grandfather.
Wow.
And we placed the sculpture in a way where the sun rises and you see the shadow of the sculpture doing the time. Oh. And at night, we mimic the sun into light movement. So whenever you pass by Dhai Dubai, you see a life during the day and you see another life during the night.
I feel like coming at sort of sunset is the perfect time because you get that experience
magical
during
hour.
the day, you get the golden hour, and then you get the nighttime. You've spoken about how truly Emirati this exhibition is, but can you talk to us about the Emirati artists that you've worked with to bring it together?
Definitely. I think from the first edition, I was a bit not worried, but I was scared a bit on how different generations of artists will talk to each other. Because, some generation think they're like the only generation, and the ones coming later are just someone who's inspired by internet. But also the young ones dream to be with the first pioneers. So what we did in the first edition, because I was too scared, I didn't tell anyone who is the artist. So they did their art not knowing who's their peers in that festival. They saw each other the night before the festival only. And they actually presented each other their sculptures. And they got advices from each other. I remember Khalid Shafar and Abdullah al-Mullah. And then Abdullah Mullah, Amna, can I fix this? I was like, but tomorrow's the festival. They took the advice from each other. And what really was nice is the inspiration of guidance, that it's like a natural mentorship, but also an inspiration for the next generation. I remember Reem Al Ghaith is one of the artists who stopped creating art for a while, but Dhai Dubai brought her back to the art world. And she discussed with Najat Makki on different things, and now look at her. She's doing more of these projects. Same thing with Khalid Shafar. He's doing more now furniture, and you see more. Finding inspiration from different generation is not something that stops with age, because age is just a number. The inspiration comes, why do we go abroad to get inspired by artists who were there from the 18th century and 17th century? Why don't we get inspired by artists that we can actually talk with and have dialogue? So this year we did the same method. We did 3 generations also. But what we are looking at is introducing a 4th generation next year, which is students. Because students in universities are so creative, and sometimes when they enter the work field, their creativity tones down because they're into a box or a structure, depend on where they go. So we want to introduce, hopefully in the 3rd edition, a 4th generation of artists.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Don't tell my daughter. She'll be trying to get involved, even though she's not Emirati. So tell us a little bit more about actually the significance of like bringing people to Expo City as well. And is it all in the Wasl, in the central part of Expo City? Explain to us.
What we're looking at Expo City, especially after we closed our doors of Expo, actually we never closed our doors, we kept our doors open. We realized that what shapes a community are the people. And we realized this at Expo. In Expo, we had a lot of thought about business leaders, about so many international business that could come and all of that. We realized it's a family hub. And seeing a family, someone is interested in art, and then her son is in a scooter with the father in a park while she's focusing on the art, really inspired us to look at how can we continue to create a community for all. And with all the residentials that are coming in and the developments, we want to create a beautiful festival in the courtyard of these residents. So we're continuing to scale up. When I say scale up, I don't mean about the number of artwork. We will always stick to 7, but scaling up the quality to make it a beautiful community led by the people. So with Dhai Dubai, we're looking at eliminating the courtyards around Al Wasl Plaza. It's more of a dialogue between the humongous dome with the light sculpture. And I can tell you, every year I try to make it a bigger sculpture, but she still becomes the huge one beside the rest. Last year, the largest, tallest sculpture was 9 meters. This year, 12 and 13 meters, but still they look tiny beside Al Wasl Plaza.
Wow. It's a huge structure. It's so vivid and beautiful. I was there for COP and I just thought it was great how they were using the space. Can you describe to us one piece of artwork that's really stood out to you? Not to pick a favourite.
Of course. One piece that really stood out is a piece of Fatma Luta. Fatma Luta is the first Emirati performing artist who studied performance art. And she pushed the norm of how we can study art. And she lives in Italy and she's back and forth here in Italy. When I told her, what does it mean to you, light influences life? She told me Surah An-Nur, which is a verse, which is in Quran, surah that says Nurun ala Nur. Nurun ala Nur means light upon light. And it's about light within. And I told her, how would you see it? And she described it like creating an aura around a person. And how she sees it as staying under an olive tree with all the good stuff that comes from it, other than shade, the oil that comes within it. It is a cleansing to the soul, to the healing, to all of these things. So when I was sitting with her, I felt my soul was cleansed while she was talking. And I realized when she was talking, she has a specific pitch of calmness. And I told her, how do you imagine your piece? She said, I don't know. But she knows that it's a painting she wants to create. And how can we take that painting into reality? I couldn't give her something less than the dome. So she takes over the dome.
Oh,
So the light sculpture is actually Al Wasl Plaza of Fatma Luta. And I asked her, how do you imagine people would hear? She said, I want to trigger all their senses, especially hearing. I said, what do you want an outcome? She said, I want them to feel cleansed, healed, revived. I spoke to a composer and he thought I was crazy for a second. I said, can we look at frequencies? He was like, what do you mean frequencies? I said, melodies as frequency. And I can tell you, you will feel your soul is cleansed. And we're looking at it in a way where you enter. Her art piece comes to life and you see the drops of oil as if you're a rock under that tree. That's how humongous that drop of oil will be. And we choreographed all the 700 lights to mimic the tree. And you see a beam of light coming in the center that you can touch the light and you feel you're part of the trunk. So what we wanted to do is create provide cushions so people can just lay down and have their soul cleansed. This is for me, I'm not saying favorite, but it's something new. We never did it in Al Wasl Plaza since 2018.
It sounds so immersive.
so immersive. And you've spoken so beautifully there about the kind of feeling of calm that this artwork really like gives the viewer and the visitor. But from the overall experience, what is the feeling that you hope that visitors leave with having experienced Dhai Dubai?
What we really aim to is that the voice of the artist goes louder than their voice itself, the feeling. If you look at the different light sculptures, when you stand in front of one, your eye can catch the other one. I would love that the visitors leave understanding that we are all connected as one. And we all have the same thought of light and how each piece influences the other light. But more importantly, how can these artists speak a language that they have never spoken before, which is in a sculpture. And we made sure most artists this year have different mediums. One is a jewelry designer, one is a mixed art artist. We don't have a specific sculptor this year. And this was something that I really wanted to push the boundaries for every artist.
Beautiful. I can't wait to go.
Yeah.
I think we have to go. This has been so fascinating talking to you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
And hello, we're back.
We are back. This week, there has been an extremely exciting moment in the art institution, history institution world here in the region.
Here in the region, yes, we have had, after 2 decades in the making, finally the Grand Egyptian Museum has opened in Cairo, which has caused loads of flutter. Everybody wants to go, that I know.
Everybody wants to go.
And for the opening ceremony, a lot of people did go. We had global leaders from around the world attended the ceremony, which happened just last weekend, which you could probably find on our pages at the National. So if you're interested in who was there and what they were wearing, then do visit thenational.com. However,
or search my byline because I did a lot of it.
However, we are joined right now with our Culture Bites exec producer.
This is extremely exciting.
So weird to be here. I'm usually on the other side.
For context, she sits behind a screen usually. We can hear her in our ears, but we don't usually hear her in everyone's ears. Yeah. Hi, welcome.
Hi, good to be here.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And being in front of camera.
Thank you for having me.
So we want to talk a little bit because your experiences of Giza, the pyramids, this region of Cairo is something that's really close to your heart, and you wrote about it in the National. Do you want to give us a little overview as how you have grown up in the shadows of this amazing museum?
Yeah. So I actually only realized that like 2 weeks ago when the opening ceremony approached for the museum. I was like, oh my God, I feel like I have a very big connection to that project because I've seen it since day one, ever since they announced 2 decades ago that they're going to build a new museum instead of the original one in downtown Cairo. I was young, but I remembered the day that they transferred Ramses II, the statue. It was in downtown Cairo, and then they moved it to a new project. It was a new project at that time. So I was like, why do I remember that day? And then I realized that I have so many connections to the museum, the neighborhood, which is the Haram district. So Haram in Arabic means the pyramids. So the entire neighborhood is basically like anywhere you walk, you would see the pyramids, basically, because it's like too huge and you would see like from distance. So I realized that, oh my God, I've seen the pyramids every day on my like walk to school, from my classroom window.
Wow.
And also my dad used to work in tourism, so he would take us like every now and then to see the pyramids. So I feel like I had a strong connection to everything and to the museum specifically. And my brother worked there for a while because he was an engineer 10 years ago at the museum. So I felt like I had so much to say. That's why I pitched the article to Farah and she accepted it.
You wrote such a beautiful piece, and you wrote so eloquently about how the past 20 years of this museum coming to fruition really has felt like a visual metaphor for Egypt, for its... There's been some moments of turbulence, there's some international moments of difficulty with COVID, and then it has really come together in like a kind of very hopeful moment is what you wrote in your piece.
Yeah, so it was basically a reflection of the last 20 years. We've seen political unrest in those years. We've seen economic turmoil, pandemics. So I feel like this project has seen so many different circumstances. And the fact that we got there last week, even the opening ceremony itself, it got postponed so many times.
Yes, it did.
So the fact that we got to this point was like, oh my God, it's finally completed. And it felt like Egypt is... starting a new chapter, now it's ready and it's ready to share everything that it has with the world. So it was a beautiful moment to watch.
Sorry, and you've been?
Yeah.
Yes.
And how did it feel walking through that building? I know you went to like the soft opening, as did I. As I loved saying to everybody at the moment, I'm like, I've already been.
I went before it opened.
How was it then walking through those gates, getting into that building that you'd seen being built from the ground up?
I loved it because when our listeners get to the museum, the first thing that they would see when they enter the venue is the statue of Ramses II. And the way that it's positioned, it's like it's welcoming the visitors. So this moment was like so magical. The moment you enter and feel like one of the old kings welcoming you into the museum. And then the soft opening did not actually, so we didn't see everything in the museum. Now it's fully open and I'm sure there is much more to see. So I love the story of Tutankhamun because the thing is, when he was a king, he died when he was 19 years old and he got the throne when he was 9 years old. So he only ruled Egypt for 10 years.
From the age of 9?
Back at that time, by the way, a 19-year-old man would be like a full-grown man because I think people had like shorter lifespans at that time. So the years that he ruled, he wasn't the most powerful king at that time. But because he died young and he didn't have anyone else to inherit his belongings, they kind of buried everything that he owns in his tomb in Luxor, right? So how this tomb got discovered, it was 2022. And there was a team of foreign archaeologists in Luxor at that time in the Valley of Kings, south of Egypt. And then there was a young boy called Hussein Abdul Rasul. He was 12 years old and he was assisting that team by like carrying water jars and like make sure that they're bringing foods to them. So he was carrying a water jar and it fell on the ground. And when it fell, they accidentally found like a tilted opening to the tomb. And when they opened it, it led to a staircase, and down there was the tomb itself. So for years, the world knew that the discoverer of this tomb was Howard Carter, a British archaeologist. But then for the first time during the ceremony last weekend, they officially said that this boy was the discoverer of the gate that led to the tomb.
Wow.
So
Reclaiming your history, right? As an Egyptian.
rewriting narratives. I love that part. So that was the last time when everything belonged to Tutankhamun was in the same place, in the same chamber. And then later on, when they opened the Egyptian Museum in downtown Cairo, they showcased like a few parts of his belongings, and the most famous item, which is the golden mask, right? Only now, and the rest of the belongings, they were stored in a storage room. But now that the Grand Egyptian Museum is opened, now we can see everything showcase at the museum for the first time in a special section.
Yeah.
So it has the feeling, it gives the visitors the feeling of what it feels to discover this tomb and see everything at the same time. So yeah, I love this part.
The collection is enormous. So there is a international fascination with ancient Egypt, and the Grand Egyptian Museum has a collection of more than 100,000 artifacts.
Yeah.
And then about half, am I right in saying, are on show at one time. So that is huge. So I haven't been yet. You've both been. Describe the kind of scale of the museum and what people can kind of expect as a visitor experience.
Well, yeah, I don't mind talking about this then a little bit. But the scale, I think, as Doaa was explaining, when you go in, there's a huge atrium, which kind of mimics the ancient Egyptian angles. So the architecture itself of the building is stunningly beautiful and makes you feel like you're going into a time machine of some sort. The way they've put everything together as well isn't necessarily in chronological order. They've put things together where you can see the style of ancient Egypt throughout the eras, because it was ruled by many dynasties for hundreds of years. So you get this kind of like sense of the vast scale as well of history. I think it's like and it all kind of comes to a pinnacle, a point architecturally at the pyramids themselves. Okay. So they're built. The building is built on the grounds of the pyramids, so that when you are walking up the stairs, and suddenly you see the pyramids of Giza, which is like
through a glass frame. Because I think when they designed it, they wanted it to be a gateway between modern Cairo and modern Giza and ancient Egypt. So by the end of this staircase, you would basically see a glass frame where you can see the pyramids from it. So like you would instantly feel the connection between modern day and ancient times.
And when you both went, what were the highlights of what you saw in the museum?
I wished I had an entire day to discover every part of the museum, and that's what I would advise our listeners and viewers to do. It's not a 1 hour museum. Yeah, take your time. I would imagine the Tutankhamun section itself to take 1 hour. But I really enjoyed the immersive experiences that they're trying to incorporate within the museum, and the VR experiences, because they want people to understand the story of the objects that they're seeing. So yeah, that's something.
How do they play out in the kind of VR? Is it do you go into rooms and special spaces? Is it audio? How does it?
Yeah, it's audio, and then you put on these VR glasses.
So full on headset mask.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's such an exciting time for Egypt, and I think it's really beautiful, the reclaiming of Egyptian history and culture at this pinnacle moment. Does it give you a sense of pride how many people are interested in what's going on and how many people attend the ceremony? Yeah.
And I think yesterday they mentioned in Egyptian media that over 1 billion viewers watched the ceremony across the world. So wow, this is a big deal. Everyone is interested in, because it's the biggest museum in the world dedicated to a single civilization. I think it's a big deal, because these monuments, these objects are Egyptian. They belong to Egypt, and they were discovered on an Egyptian soil. They're not gifted, they're not taken, they're not bought. So yeah, it feels good to see like our heritage.
It's interesting now when you're saying this as well, like whether things will be gifted back. I know there's been so much controversy over how much was looted, taken from Egypt, especially the British Museum that still holds the Rosetta Stone, which is always something of contention. And we've also got in Paris, you've got the Dendara Zodiac at the Louvre, and in the Berlin Museum, you have a 3,000-year-old bust of the Queen Nefertiti. These are. Do you hope one day, as an Egyptian, do you hope that they will come back?
Of course I will. But at the same time, the fact that these stuff are being showcased in other countries, I think it kind of draws more, like it draws some interest, and then you would want to visit Egypt itself to see more of it. So maybe in a way it encourages more tourists to come to the country. And through this Grand Egyptian Museum, I think Egypt is hoping to attract 1 million more, like additional tourists every year. And I think they've mentioned that in each day, they're expecting between 15,000 to 20,000 visitors.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge numbers.
Great times for Egypt then, for your tourism.
Yeah.
A lot of exciting things. I can't wait to go. I'm definitely going to have to go early next year.
So Farah, you watched the ceremony.
Yes.
Okay. How did you find it?
I enjoy. So I was covering it early on Sunday morning. I was writing about the dignitaries, the royals, the celebrities that were in attendance, and then I watched a lot of the clips. There was like orchestral music, and what I did like, there was like towards the beginning there was a nice threading kind of conversation with a Japanese orchestra, and that's a nice nod to the funding that I understand kind of came from Japan and the kind of backing of the museum. And then throughout it just felt, what I liked the most, there were a lot of Egyptian actors who were involved, people dressed up in heroic, kind of, I don't want to say costumes, so the kind of in ancient Egyptian clothing, and every single person was kind of, the conversation was just of pride, of kind of exactly what you said, of kind of taking like, this is like beautiful, positive news coming out of Cairo, and everyone looked absolutely thrilled to be there. People love going to museums. A big glamorous event at a museum. Can't get any better. And it felt very, very positive, hopeful, and just proud, which it was very, very nice to watch.
Yeah. We had our own little trend on social media. Remember in one of the episodes you guys spoke about Studio Ghibli trend? If you haven't watched that episode, please go back to the playlist and do. But we had a similar trend where people were basically, they were uploading their images to one of the AI tools, and then writing a specific prompt, and then they would give them pictures in like the ancient Egyptian costume. So it was for the entire week before the opening ceremony, everyone was basically doing that. Like how would we look like if we lived 7,000 years ago?
Well, and that's what all the actors were wearing. But there was one very legendary actress who made a rare appearance. Do you want to?
Yeah, Shirihan.
Yes. Everyone was extremely excited to see her on stage.
She's a bit of a cult actress.
Yeah, you know her, right? Yeah. She's an icon. Basically, 30 years ago or 20 years ago, she was a singer, a dancer, an actress, basically multi-talented. And then she kind of retired 20 years ago. And with this appearance at the ceremony, everyone was super excited because they didn't mention her name, but they said someone who people haven't seen for a long time will come back. So some people guessed, and they guessed it right. And it was Shirihan. It was a very 20-second appearance, but it was very powerful.
And she didn't talk. She was on stage. She kind of did quite a gentle dance, but she was surrounded she was wearing a very dramatic Elisab gown.
Oh,
Yes.
Gold sequin number, and then she was surrounded by dancers who were also in golden dresses, and they were all wearing like identical black kind of Cleopatra black wigs, and it was it was a beautiful dance experience kind of around her, and she just kind of stood on stage, and it was just like, I keep saying the word proud, but that was just, she kind of stood there like, yeah.
Yeah. I love this moment, and I had another favorite moment where a Nubian singer, he came on stage and he sang in Nubian language. I love this part because it shows how Egypt is basically very linguistically diverse, and that we have like too many layers within the same culture, especially that Nubians at one point in history they ruled the south part of Egypt in ancient times. So yeah, it was very powerful to see this recognition on stage on like in such a global scale ceremony coming out of Egypt.
Again, rewriting the narrative of their own history in their own terms and their own words, which I think is so powerful and important. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, recommendations time.
Recommendation time. What a great episode this has been.
I have loved this episode. My recommendation is listen to this all over again. Do you want to kick us off with your recommendation?
Yes, so I have been going out and about. The weather's getting so nice right now in the evenings. So me and the family, we chose to go to Global Village, our first time.
I was going, is it your first?
Yes, it was our first time. What an extravaganza.
A much hyped experience, I would say.
Much hyped experience. Really enjoyed it. Like, very affordable. So if you haven't been yet, like, do go and check it out. It really comes to life in the night.
Oh.
And
it also features a lot of light.
A lot of light. And there was a drone show, there was music, and it's lots of different pavilions, so representing different parts from around the world. And me and my children got to like walk around in little markets. It was a fun fair. It's just a great day out for the family.
Very family friendly.
Very, very family friendly. We had lots of fun. We went to the Afghan pavilion, and there was traditional Afghan music. There was a man making clay pots. In the Chinese pavilion, there was, traditional Chinese dances with fans. So I just, if you haven't been, which I hadn't been, it's taken me 3 years to get there.
Get yourself to Dubai. Go to Global Village.
Go to Global Village. And what's your recommendation for this
Very
week?
different. Very different. My recommendation is Dave's new album, which is The Boy Who Played the Harp.
Oh my God, I've been listening to this. It's really good.
Have you?
Yeah, I love the Thames track.
Yeah, that's Rain Dance. I have been listening to it on loop. I'm obsessed. So this album came out on the same day as Lily Allen's new album.
Yes.
And I do feel like perhaps West End Girl caught my eye.
Yes.
I was very deeply
Sidetracked.
embedded in the world of the West End Girl. I still am.
Oh, it's
I'm not pretending that I've left that world.
No.
There is a lot to unpack.
The hype of that album is still ongoing online. But Dave.
Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed. So yeah, it's been out for a couple of weeks. I am still kind of unpacking it, really enjoying it. And the Thames track, Rain Dance, is my favourite. I've been obsessed.
Yes.
So that's my recommendation. Go listen to it.
I love that. I was not expecting that at all. All right, okay. Not that I didn't think you'd listen to Dave. I didn't think.
I told you I was here to surprise you today.
Yeah, I love that. Just a little cultural surprise, a little sprinkling from Farah. Our Taylor Swiftie is entering into the world of Dave.
She has long lived in the world of Dave.
Right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening to this episode.
And you can watch us over on the National News' channel on YouTube and follow us on Instagram at The National Arts. We'll see you next Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.